Shalom and good morning. Warriors of the truth.
Roscoe, be quiet. Sit down.
Okay. Now I'm going to continue on with our last lesson from Fossilized Customs. Okay. ANAN'S doctrinal arguments. To save his life, Anan had to have radically different ideas to prove to the Caliph that his religion was different from a rabbinical Yehudaism. With his life hanging in the balance, a seminal moment came to him that made the Caliph very pleased with him. He announced that he differed from the rabbinical religion's views concerning the new moon day to set the festivals by. Anan claimed the sighting of the new moon was the only way to establish a new moon day, and this was the pivotal issue that changed the mind of the Caliph. Islam's most prominent symbol is the crescent moon.
Stop, Roscoe.
They begin their moon.
Roscoe! Stop it. Right now. Come on. Come on, dummy.
Oh. Okay.
Sit. Sit down. Sit down.
Okay. Sorry, Bella. I love you. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. They begin their moons according to the sighting of the crescent moon at sunset, but rabbinical Yehudaism has never done this. The sighted moon cannot be verified from Scripture, but the dark moon can be. The new moon is 15 days before the full moon. Rabbinical Yehudaism embraced the oral law called the traditions of the fathers in Paul's time. Anan did not agree with the oral law, but held only to Torah as he interpreted it. Anan corrected a flaw in the traditional count to Shavuot, or Pentecost. It falls on the first day of the week each year, the morrow after the seventh Shabbat, which is correct and why. Neither rabbinical Yahudim nor the Karaites understand the festivals.
Stop it, Roscoe!
Understand the festivals symbolize Yahusha's redemption plan. That's what the festivals are for. Yahusha's redemption plan.
Roscoe, stop it! I mean it. Lay down. Lay down and be quiet.
Oh. Sorry, guys, again. Okay. So, the festivals are what symbolizes Yahusha's redemption plan. I apologize for that. My dogs are a little crazy this morning. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah, you jumped off the bed. Okay. This is what Scripture calls darkness, a lack of understanding. Yahusha's redemption plan. Yes, this is what the Scripture calls darkness, a lack of understanding. Yahusha is refining his bride. And in this process, we will comprehend the big picture as well as small details. To determine when the new moon begins, we look to when things changed. Yahusha observed the festivals the same as the rest of the nation around him, so we can be sure that any departure from his pattern occurred later. That departure came when Anan introduced the sighted moon, rather than the dark moon as the new moon. Anan and the Karaite sect after him considered rabbinical Yehudaism to be their doctrinal enemy as much as Luther's Reformation considered the Pope to be Antichrist or anti-Mashiach. We know our enemy is not flesh and blood, and when we hate, we do the will of the dragon. So do not have hatred in your hearts, beloved. The dragon knows false teaching false teachings are only a means to an end. The dragon is not too concerned about which side is right, as long as there is division and strife that produces the desired outcome, hate. And then this is the illustrations for the next part of the lesson. Beginning in the 1st century CE, Gnostic teachings from the East invaded the Levant. My apologies, guys. I did just calm them. Okay. The Middle East. The Levant, the Middle East. Those who are familiar with witchcraft know about the popular image of the goddess, with upward lifted arms representing the crescent moon in the above picture. Sighted moon or calculated. One of the Karaites' arguments with rabbinical observance is how the new moon must not be calculated, but rather should be observed, waiting until the light bulb on the face of the moon waiting till the light builds, on the face of the moon so a sliver is seen, and then counting 15 days to a festival, a sliver of light is missing from the full moon's face. The full moon occurs on the 14th day for those beginning with a sighted moon. The Karaites claim they hold only to the Torah, inspired word, yet there is no trace found in Torah of anyone being told to see a crescent phase of the moon, nor anyone ever doing it. Scripture tells us the full moon coincides with the arrival of the festival of Sukkot. Psalm 81:3. Blow the ram's horn at the time of the new moon, at the full moon on our festival yom, or festival day. 1 Samuel 20, verses 5 and 6 inform us there was a yearly slaughtering for the clan on the day of the new moon, logically the 7th moon. David, knew when the new moon was before seeing a sliver or a sighted moon. Okay, and David or Dawid said to Yehonathan, "See, tomorrow is the new moon, and I ought to sit with the sovereign to eat. But let me go, and I shall hide in the field until the 3rd yom, or the 3rd day, at evening. If your father misses me at all, then you shall say, Dawid earnestly asked my permission to run over to Bethlehem, his city, for a yearly slaughtering is made there for all the clan." From this evidence, there is no doubt the sighted moon came from outside Scripture. From the Sumerians, the pagan worship of the host of heaven, zodiac, imaginary zoo, animal shapes called the constellations, spread its infection to the Far East. Hinduism reflects the pattern taught through gurus, spiritual guides, although they have titles like guru, rabbi, mystagogue, or worshipful master. They guide the initiate into enlightenment or fulfillment. The initiate passes stages, grades, degrees, or levels of learning, seen in the pattern of the Catholic magisterium or Freemasonry. The dragon deceived all the people of the planet, Persians, Tyrians, Canaanites, Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, Aztecs, etc., and continues to spread poison teachings and human sacrifices all around the earth. This is not his body transubstantiation, the eating of the little bread cracker piece at the churches. It's not real. Crescent, it shows a picture of the crescent. Is there not a lie in my right hand? Yashayahu 44:20. And this is the pictures for that. And that's the cracker for communion. And the crescent up here. The host of worship of the host of heaven. The host of heaven were worshipped by by means of sex. Sexual compatibility is well preserved even today as it expresses itself in astrology. The signs of the zodiac at the time of one's birth are used to predict and evaluate a person's future according to the position of the sun, moon, and constellations. The whole earth is infected with traditions from Babel, being drunk from the cup of the mother of harlots. The pre-Islamic Arabs worshipped 360 sky deities, one of which was the greatest, called Allah. Allah is represented by the crescent moon and was the most favored of all deities by Muhammad's clan. Yahuwah is not represented by any kind of symbol, and certainly not any of the objects seen in the sky. Symbols of Allah and his daughters. The symbol for Allah in Islam is the crescent moon and star. The three daughters of Allah are symbolized with other aspects involving the moon. The moon and star symbol has sexual significance to those who have studied their sensual meaning within Hinduism. The photo below shows the crescent and star as part of the Om symbol. Hindu Trinity, star, Shiva, crescent, Brahma, Vishnu. The crescent and star are components of the Om symbol. In the Quran, the three daughters of Allah were Al-Uzza, Alat, and Manat. They were mentioned in the satanic verses, which later were expelled from Scripture. Ever since, Islamic teachers have worked to plan how the pre-Islamic Allah is different from the Allah who has no daughters. Whenever a deity is depicted by any object in the skies, it's a big clue there's a connection to Babel. Wicca uses the symbol for Allah's daughter, shown above. Yahuwah, the maker of heaven and earth, never told us to represent him with a crescent moon and star. That much is a striking difference. As Christians come out of Babel's rebellious system of adopted fertility feast and learn Torah observance, many come under the teachings of Messianic leaders who coach them in how the moon works. The majority of these Messianic teachers inherited their understanding of the sighted moon from men who taught them to observe the festivals. Just like the Karaites, they believe their understanding of the moon is a more accurate method than the pattern followed by the Yahudim. We have to concede that not all things we have inherited from Rabbinical Judaism are flawed, but only certain things. The week and the Shabbat, the new moon, the Ten Commandments, and all the living words of Scripture have been faithfully preserved for us. We are not responsible for the Talmud, the Khatan, the Kippah, or any other signs of membership not ordered by Yahuwah's inspired word. Tzitzit or tassels are found in Scripture, so we obey and put them on our garment. Rabbinical Judaism was Paul's former way of life, Galatians 1:13, which added traditions of men. In spite of this fact, Stephen told the Sanhedrin at Acts 7:38, they received the living words to give to us. Some sighted moon teachers have been heralding the omen of the 4 blood moons. That's interesting because they cannot tell or calculate when the next new moon is until they see its sliver. But how could they possibly know when a lunar eclipse will occur years away? If calculating the new moon is so wrong to them, why do they publish printed calendars in advance of their sighted moon slivers every year? They criticize others for what they also do, but we have to love them. Yahusha told us to not be like the world, seeking positions of authority over others, or to imitate the heathens' methods in the worship of him. Deuteronomy 18:9, Yirmiyahu 10, and Deuteronomy 12. Next is Deuteronomy 12:30 through 32. Guard yourself that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed from before you, and that you do not inquire about their mighty ones, saying, how did these nations serve their mighty ones? And let me do so too. Do not do so to Yahuwah, your Elohim. For every abomination which Yahuwah hates, they have done to their mighty ones. For they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their mighty ones. All the words I am commanding you, guard to do it. Do not add it to it nor take away from it. The BYNB. Restoration, not reformation. 2 Corinthians 5:18-21. In all matters from Elohim, who has restored us to favor with himself through Yahushua Mashiach, and has given us the service of restoration to favor. That is, that Elohim was in Mashiach, restoring the world to favor unto himself, not reckoning their trespasses to them, and has committed to us the word of restoration to favor. Therefore we are envoys on behalf of Mashiach. Be restored to favor with Elohim. For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteous of Elohim. Roscoe, stop. We don't reform Babel, we come out of her. Come out of her, my people. Love is our hallmark. 1 Corinthians 13. Love. If I speak with the tongues of men and of Malachim, but do not have love, I have become as sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophecy and know all secrets and all knowledge, and if I have all belief so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am none at all. And if I give out all my possessions to feed the poor, and if I give my body to be burned, but do not have love, I have not profited at all. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love does not boast. Is not puffed up, does not behave indecently, does not seek its own, is not provoked, reckons not the evil, does not rejoice over the unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It covers all, believes all, expects all, endures all. Love never fails, and if there be prophecies, they shall be inactive, or tongues, they shall cease, or knowledge, it shall be inactive. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be inactive. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, I reasoned as a child. But when I became a man, I did away with childish things. For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know as I also have been known. And now belief, expectation, and love remain, these three. But the greatest of these is love. If we abide, live, or walk in Yahushua's word, we are truly his Talmudim or students.
What did you knock down?
We will be set free from strongholds, false reasonings. If we accept everything we hear without testing all things, we can inherit false understandings. If a ruler listens to lying words, all his servants become wrong. Proverbs 29:12. External signs of membership reveal that we are fleshly in our walk. Eye service is hypocrisy. You can take off your kippah and put on love. Consider the source of everything you are practicing. Religious garb of pagans who worship forces. Catholic or Christian stole, rabbinic katan, Hindu kata. Guard Yahuwah's words, be set free. Reverence to tradition grows stronger with each generation. Many traditions come from Eastern mysticism expressed in Hinduism. Okay. And then that's the picture for that. My next lesson, I'm going to be reading about the bride, Yahuwah's bride. Come, I shall show you the bride, the Lamb's wife, Yahushua's bride. The bride was hidden as in a field long ago. Caught away. The bride, the children of Yasharal. And I possibly will have time to read Day of Distress, Three Temples, question mark. The bride is described in various ways. And that's probably as far as I can get later on or tomorrow. I have a lot of work to do today. Please pray that I can finish it. It's very tedious and kind of hard, but Yahuwah will get me through it. Yahuwah bless you all. All praise and esteem to Yahuwah. And I love you all, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Shalom.